I'm Alana Cerrone O'Hare.
And I'm Nick Millard.
Welcome to PVD POV, where we bring you new insights into the coolest little city in the smallest state.
Whether you're a local looking to uncover hidden gems or a visitor eager to dive into our vibrant culture, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll be chatting with the movers and shakers in Providence, from restaurant owners to hoteliers and everyone in between. And today we're so glad to have our friend and hometown hero, as I call her, Kat Craddock. She is the editor-in-chief and CEO of Saveur magazine, and she has obviously a very strong connection to Providence and Rhode Island, and she's a force, and we're working with her on the Providence Culinary Collective, so we're really glad to have her back in studio and back in town.
Yes, back in town, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start things off first talking about why you're in town this week. So I know you come back to visit family pretty often, but you're also printing the latest edition of Saveur right in East Greenwich. So talk about that process and bringing back Saveur to print and choosing a local printer, why that was so important to you.
Yeah, for sure. We are a 30-year-old legacy publication, but I talk about us as being a startup as well. I have been reading Saveur since I was probably 14, 15 years old, growing up in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And it played a big part in me having a career in restaurants, working in restaurants for 10 years, and then eventually moving over to the food media side of things. I started with the brand 10 years ago, and then I purchased it from the former owners a year and a half ago now. And the previous owners were a tech company, really, and one of the first things they had done when they took it over was to get rid of the print component of our magazine. And everybody working on it, and so many of our audience really missed it and wanted to bring that back. So once the company was in my hands, that was a priority for us. And we really, I didn't necessarily immediately think I'm going to go find a printer in Rhode Island right away. I live in New York City now, but I spoke with a couple different printers and was aware of Meridian down in East Greenwich because they print Cherry Bomb, which is another great independent publication, and really loved their work. And after speaking with them and seeing what they were able to do, really just realized that they were the best in their craft and best suited to help us relaunch at the quality we wanted to create.
Yeah, and honestly, I went down there, what was it, last week or the week before, and I was there, and you took me around and showed me all the printing, and it was really cool. Like I said to you, I felt like I was on a episode of how it's made with the factory setting and things coming off and everything, but they are very, I've been into a printing place before, they're very high-tech, they're very meticulous in what they're printing out, and it's really cool to see it being done. And we might actually be able to put some of that footage with this too for social and everything. But it was a great experience to come down there. And do you enjoy that aspect of it?
So much. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I always liken it to like Mr. Rogers going to the crayon factory or something. The magic of this thing that we've been working on behind screens for a whole year, seeing that kind of come to life on paper and seeing all these guys that work on the plant really putting all this love and attention into making sure that it's as perfect as we all think that it should be.
And it's really nice paper, by the way.
Thank you.
It's not like a flimsy magazine paper. It's good stock, and it's really nice.
Yeah, Meridian, they don't only print magazines. They print vinyl record sleeves for Sony. They print a lot of art books for a lot of the galleries in New York City, and they put that same kind of attention into their magazine work as well.
Yeah, we showed me some of the examples that they had on the wall and everything of different albums. I think there was a Prince album.
Mm-hmm,
there was
Cowboy Carter.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they also did the Horizon game, the soundtrack for the Horizon game.
Yes, yeah.
Which was really cool to see. You could see the artwork there too. I think I have some photos of that too, so I might be able to put that in the show notes or something like that. But it was really cool to see all that stuff and the process of everything. And again, like you said, the love and the craft that go into printing is really interesting, and it's not a lost medium.
Yeah, the guys that work there really, you can tell they love it too. And I think that's what's so exciting. And they're so generous with their time and their knowledge. And they have as many ideas as we do about what can be done. And now that we're back in print, it's really important to us that we're creating a product that is not necessarily just kind of an alternative to digital media. It needs to be something that's special and different and worth investing in and worth purchasing for it to survive.
And this is the third edition since you've been back in print.
Yes, yeah. Third. So we are this week binding our third edition back in print, and that'll be going to the post office in Providence at the end of this month.
That's amazing. And actually timing up perfectly with the Providence Culinary Collective, which we've talked about a few times on here, but Kat and Saveur are our exclusive national media partner and have been so helpful in orchestrating ideas, connecting us with some of the movers and shakers in the restaurant industry from Charleston. Is that Chubby Fish? Is in Charleston. And just really helping us with the marketing of this. And so the timing for your March issue is perfect with the Culinary Collective. You are very familiar with food festivals. You've been to them, you've spoken on panels. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts about, how Providence stacks up and how it's different, how it can stand out in this food festival market, because this is our first one. And we think it's awesome. It's got a great lineup, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I think there are a lot of food festivals all around the world, and a lot of people do them in very different ways. And the ones that are the most compelling for me, and I think for our audience and for our readers, are the festivals that really aim to highlight local talent. And you can parachute a celebrity in anywhere in the world and have the same experience anywhere in the world. If the point is to educate people and introduce people to everything that's great about the food in Rhode Island and in Providence, you don't need to really cast this really wide net. It's great to bring in some talent from outside, and you're bringing in some awesome talent that has great synchronicity with the folks that are already in the restaurant industry here. But Rhode Island has always been this incredible melting pot of different cultures and cuisines, and I think the fact that you're working towards uplifting that is what's going to make this a really successful event and really great for consumers. And I think it makes it great for people visiting from out of town, and also for locals that want to experience their own city in a new way.
Absolutely. I think that was part of the process when planning the festival, was that it's not going to be, once the festival's over, you can't experience this cuisine anymore. You don't have to wait for the festival to come back in order to have some meals with Ben Sukol, right? Who's one of the chefs that's participating. It really is a good snapshot of what the culinary scene is actually like here.
It's just highlighting what we already have, and not just making something to make something for the festival and everything. And I think it really what pulls in great, what we can really focus on is Johnson Wales University, which we're actually sitting in right now. For people that are watching the visual version of this here, sitting in their Bistro 61, which is part of Johnson Wales Hospitality College, and but they also have a couple of events that are happening. March 28th, I believe there are 3 classes that they have, which is really cool that we can focus on what Johnson Wales University does to this community and for this community to help bring in the chefs and all the expertise that we can have here.
The cooking classes, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, there's the Blitz dough pastry class. There's a contemporary Italian cooking class, and then there's a wine passport wine class. Which, the wine one I'm all for. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Rub it in. Do you have experience with Blitz dough?
Blitz
being a pastry chef?
I don't think so. I don't know that term. What can you explain it?
That's why I can't go to class.
Yeah, that's why we need to go to class. I don't know I don't know what it is. It says Blitz dough pastry, and that's what I'm intrigued by.
I
think I need
maybe
to
like
Google
food processor pie dough, possibly.
It's probably like the quick and dirty type, pastry dough that you can make with the food processor and everything.
Yeah,
it doesn't take the hours of.
Yeah, I love that there's this educational component built into the festival too, and I know there are also some kind of wine panels that are going to be really exciting, and some great wine talent from around the country are going to be involved in those. But yeah, I think that maying in a lot of different types of experiences, whether it's a kind of this sort of fine dining, really upscale dinner, or a food truck moment, or an educational moment, or kind of a panel discussion, there really is kind of something for everybody.
I agree. And especially utilizing something like Johnson & Wales, it's renowned, and people won't normally have an opportunity to learn from some of the best at a food festival, especially. So that's really exciting. The food truck event, the drag brunch block party, is going to be awesome. It's like the first one that Providence has ever had, as far as we know, but it's such a cool idea. And the kind of street that they're blocking off to have this is perfect, because there's a mural in the backdrop, and it's right outside the Dark Lady and the Alley Cat. So that was just a perfect kind of combination of things that came together for that event to happen. The food trucks, those are going to be great. The cooking classes, I'm looking forward to. Some of the dinners, I'll have to skip the wine, but I'll still just eat the food.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
We'll get that.
We're looking forward to that. And then the industry party that you're putting together is bringing together some of the great chefs that are coming to this, but also some great pizza. Talk about that process.
Yeah, I'm super excited about the industry party. I think it's a really important part of the festival because I came from working in restaurants. I think that these sorts of moments when everyone's eating and drinking and having such a great time, it's important to remember who's making that possible, right? And all these people that work so hard, who are already working so hard to feed us in their restaurants, they're coming together and putting even more energy into this festival. So we are, throwing a big party at the Narragansett Brewery. And our new issue has a story in it about Rhode Island-style bakery pizza. So it's a pizza and beer theme. Seemed like a no-brainer for us. In addition to, obviously, plenty of beer, a couple local pizza legends are going to be on location slinging pies for their brethren in the industry as well. Kevin O'Donnell from Mother down in Newport, but is going to be opening up a spot here in Providence soon as well. And Rob Andriozzi from Pizza Marvin.
Love him.
That's awesome. No, that's great. I love some
and hopefully
pizza
an old school bakery pizza too.
Ooh. I can't wait to read this bakery pizza story coming out.
I got some glimpses at the.
Oh, that's right. You got a sneak peek. I'm gonna have to pick your brain.
I'll have to
later.
look at my camera and see if I can get some inside scoops.
Your colleague Ryan was here doing research.
Yes, Ryan,
pizza.
One of our editors, Ryan, is also a former Rhode Island resident, and he worked in Seven Stars Bakery before he kind of switched over to the media side of things. So he worked on this story and also adapted a recipe from LaSalle Bakery that is running in the issue that works really well. I tested it myself.
I love the recipes in Saveur, and I love the ones that you write as well because they're usually Rhode Island themed, like the clam cake one at least. And what is that like? Because Rhode Island has these kind of unique foods that we love and know, but other people find crazy, like coffee milk and stuffies and clam cakes. Probably bakery pizza is like a very contentious topic because some people they're like, that's not pizza.
I've heard it referred to, especially this was more of a Massachusetts thing. I don't know if it was it was sort of real of it too. They call it beach pizza. Like you take it to the beach. I'm like, I've never heard of beach pizza.
Yeah, I've never heard that term before, but that makes sense.
I mean, it makes
I've
sense
definitely
too.
eaten it on the beach.
Yeah, definitely on the
Right?
beach. But like, I just for some reason,
It's portable.
Yeah, it's portable. I mean, we call it party pizza here.
Yeah, or you buy it at the gas station, on the way to the beach.
Yeah,
It's still good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you weave those Rhode Island ties into even some of the stories and recipes that you produce today.
Yeah, the first recipe story I ever did for Saveur when I first started there was about Rhode Island clam cakes. And to report it, I drove all around the state with my mom and dad and ate, some of the clam cake spots are closed now even, but put together, our kind of landscape of which ones were our favorites and what we liked about some and not about others, and developed something from scratch that was like what I consider to be the ultimate Rhode Island clam cake.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, what's your favorite clam cake? Can you say?
I mean, I did really like the Rocky Point one, and I don't think they're around anymore. So that was one of my favorites. I love the George's Galilee.
George's is always great.
Aunt Carrie's is a favorite too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Down the road.
Legendary.
And they come. I just love when you get the brown bag though of clam cakes and it's all soaked through with
Yep.
grease. That's when you know it's really good.
When I brought the team for printing our last issue, we were eating dinner at Cello's down by in East Greenwich, and I went to the restroom and they ordered clam cakes while I was away, and there were 3 of us at the table and they ordered a dozen clam cakes. I was like, oh my god, this is way too many clam cakes, you guys. They're not going to be able to eat anything else.
Now, do you prefer to eat your clam cakes dunking it in the chowder, or do you just eat? Okay.
Yeah, with chowder.
Now, what kind of chowder?
Either New England or clear, depending on the occasion. And
all right.
Like on a really hot summer day, I don't need that much cream.
Yeah, no, I get it. I usually don't have clam chowder when it's too hot out, so I get it. But.
I could eat clam chowder in the heat.
Yeah,
I'm weird like that.
I mean, I've done it, but it's just sometimes it's a little too much of the cream, so it's a little too heavy, but it's okay.
What do you think? What do you think makes the Rhode Island food scene so special? And you've, again, like I said, you've eaten at some of the top restaurants. You're a chef yourself. Written recipes. Is there anything about your home state food that you think makes it stand out?
Yeah, I talk about this a lot with my team about the fact that Rhode Island's contemporary food, there's so much going on that's really exciting, and there are a lot of great new restaurants in Rhode Island and in Providence. But what's so cool about it is the old school stuff is really great too, and that holds up. And there are all of these dishes that I didn't really realize were Rhode Island specific until I went away to college and realized like Rhode Island clam chowder is even a thing. I just
Right.
thought it was clear clam chowder, or I had no idea that calamari was served with anything else other than hot peppers. And yeah, and a lot of those little, and like all of the different styles of pizza that are here that, I mean, grilled pizza was invented here. Pizza
Yep.
strips you don't really find anywhere else at all. There's a lot that I miss when I'm away. And I'm really excited about bringing a lot of my friends and, you know, colleagues into the state and into the city to experience more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we really didn't touch upon maybe kind of your history, your background, your history, and what goes into
Yeah, sure.
being you.
My very first food job was scooping ice cream off of Thayer Street at Ben and Jerry's.
Nice.
Is that still
R.I.P.
there?
No, no, it's not, right? No, it's not.
It is?
It's still
Ask
there?
the college kids.
Oh, the college kids know. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
It
a lot
is.
of Ben and Jerry's stores left.
Yeah.
But
I
that
know,
one's
and
still-
that one is iconic. I love that one. Okay, so you scooped ice cream?
Yeah, and I went away to college, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I got an English degree, but the whole time that I was in college, I was working in food and cooking in my dorm, and I worked at a cheese shop the whole time I was in college and loved that. And
Cheese shop? That's
Yeah, a cheese
interesting.
shop in Wellesley, Massachusetts, which is
Oh.
a fantastic family-owned store that
I would
everybody should drive to right
Be
now.
dangerous in a cheese shop.
It's less than an hour away.
Which one is it?
It's called Wassack's Cheese Shop,
Okay.
right in downtown Wellesley.
Because you do call yourself a cheesemonger.
Yes,
I
yeah,
love.
yes. You never really get the cheese out of your blood.
Who would want to?
And I do a lot of writing about cheese still, actually, and we work with a lot of cheese kind of advertisers and partners and things like that. But cheese people are wonderful, and they're so much fun to work with. And
We had a cheese convention come here. I think
Really?
It was like,
Oh,
It
cool.
was. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was a cheese convention, and they came down. It was probably about 10 years ago now, to the convention center. They had this event, and I
We
was just
should
like,
get
"That's
them
interesting.
back.
We should get them back."
There's
We'll
a
have-
very cool independent cheese magazine printed up in Maine.
Oh, okay.
Called
It might have been-
Culture.
no,
Oh, that's a great name.
Culture's good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to let you know next time that they're coming in town. You can
Oh,
be
yeah.
the cheesemonger.
Cheese people,
Sad to
we
have
call
missed
them
it.
cheaple.
The
Cheaple,
cheaple.
yes.
The cheaple. So after the cheese, what did you do?
I went to culinary school. Like right out of college, I went to culinary school. I did not go to Johnson and Wales.
It's okay. They won't
had
hold it
some
against you too
wanderlust.
much.
I wanted to move to Chicago, so I went to there was a cordon bleu program in Chicago back then, and I went to that and really enjoyed my pastry classes. So when it came time to do my externship, I worked for a pastry chef named Mindy Siegel in Chicago. My auntie Mindy, and she's incredibly talented and has very good friend. And I kept working in pastry and bread for a decade after that. So I sort of still dabbled in cheese, curated the cheese menus for the restaurants that I worked at while also making desserts, and then eventually kind of segueing over to bread. Eventually I moved back to Boston for a while and worked in restaurants there, and then eventually moved to New York City. My first job there, I was the overnight bread baker at Per Se.
That's
It's a
right.
very intense job, very
imagine.
fun job.
Bread baking is definitely something that I would never. I wouldn't. I'm not cut out for that.
You didn't take it up in the pandemic?
No,
All
I
the,
did-
the
I did
sourdough
not.
starters?
No, I didn't do any sourdough, but just like getting out, because what time you have to get there? Like
Overnight.
in the morning?
Yeah,
We
I
do
was
overnight.
going in, my first shift, I would go in at like 10 o'clock at night
Yeah.
and work for 12 hours.
Yeah,
So
overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
it was
thanks.
wild.
That life's not for me.
And that, I mean, in my 20s, I could do it. It was okay. But eventually switched over to just an early shift. And I mean, whether you're getting up at 4 or you're getting up at 9, it always sucks getting up in the morning.
Right.
So you kind of
Very true. Very
get
true.
used to it. It's nice getting out in the sunshine in like a summer afternoon. But yeah, I mean, I after a decade of that lifestyle, I loved it and it was fun, but I knew I didn't want to open my own restaurant and was thinking about, what was the next step for me. So I started doing a little bit of freelancing, and I was working 5 days a week in a bakery. And then on my 2 days off, I'd go and I work in the Saveur test kitchen, testing recipes and writing and helping out with events, whatever they would let me do. And that was right around the time that Instagram started. So media changed very quickly. The company kind of ebbed and flowed and was sold twice, and a lot changed. And since I was there at that moment, there was so much change going on that I was kind of able to make myself as useful as I could in every department. So I learned a lot more about the business really quickly than I probably would have if I'd kind of entered the media world in more conventional channels. But anytime I could help out with an event or with an ad sale or, writing something or food styling or photography or social media or anything that needed to happen, I was like, okay, how can I help? And having that approach was sort of right place, right time. So during the pandemic, we were sold by one large company to another large company as part of like a package deal with a bunch of other publications. And after a couple of years, it started to seem clear that it wasn't really working out in the model that that the previous owner put it in. So I approached them and I asked them if they'd be open to selling it to me. You know, if they were going to get rid of it, I would rather it go to somebody that loved it as much as I do. And when they didn't laugh me out of the room, I was like, okay, I can try and figure out how this works. Like, I've lived through one sale before. I know what happens and what needs to go into this. And I found some investment, and within a couple of months, all of that went through, and we took it independent.
That's great. No, that sounds very, very daunting and very scary to take on something to this this level. And I know you take it to heart whenever you get a subscriber. I know when we were sitting and chatting at the printers, your phone was going off constantly and dinging every time you got a subscriber. And I think you have it on mute now, but I'm sure
I turned my phone off, but it might be going. Yeah,
I'm sure it might be going. I think you said around now is once you start getting some more subscribers, and I can definitely tell that you are invested in it and love it to the point where you get excited every time that goes off and that dings. So it definitely shows.
And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, we were just at the Fit Symposium here at JWU, and your new cookbook is on display from our friends at Stock. And tell us about that. And what is it? Eat good, sleep better. Eat better,
sleep better.
I love that. I love that. So you paired up with a scientist to get that out.
I did, yeah. This was a project that I started working on during the pandemic. No one knew what was going on. Just kind of say yes to anything that comes along. But I had been shopping around a couple book ideas to my agent, and she came back to me and she told me that she had this idea to pair me up with this sleep scientist, Marie-Pierre Saint-Onge, who is one of the foremost experts on the intersection of nutrition and sleep up at Columbia University. So we used a lot of her findings and research and advice to develop 70 recipes and a meal plan that are intended to kind of reset your sleep cycle and help you get better rest and have better health as a result.
Have you seen results? Have you been following the meal plan?
Yes. When I was just testing and developing these recipes, definitely slept much better, which was, during the pandemic, none of us were sleeping very well or getting enough exercise. I'm also not the best test subject because I am if I have one superpower, it is sleep. I could lay down on the floor here right now and go to sleep. However, my co-author did all of the testing as well. So she fed it to her family the whole time that we were working on it, and we've all seen positive results.
That's such a great idea because A, who doesn't love to eat, but B, there are so many people that struggle with sleep, except for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so to learn that there's diet tweaks that you can make to sleep better, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
Is there one little tidbit that you can give us that's just like a...
It's like don't eat candy at night or something?
Well, tryptophan, which we all hear about tryptophan as being in turkey.
Yeah.
It's actually in all proteins.
Yeah.
It is an amino acid in protein, and your body can access it best. And accessing it means using tryptophan to build your own melatonin and serotonin in your brain. You don't need to take melatonin pills. In order for your body to absorb that amino acid properly, it needs to be paired with complex carbohydrates. So no more Atkins diets, no more low carb. Eat your turkey or your salmon with some brown rice or a whole grain toast
Okay.
Yep. So that's the science behind Uncle Steve taking a nap at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, on the couch.
Yeah.
Watching the football.
Well, it's the turkey and the mashed potato combo.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
the
dinner
wine,
roll.
too.
And the wine. And he just didn't want to listen to us anymore, so we'd go take a nap on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we love it. Thank you so much for being here, Kat. We're excited about the Providence Culinary Collective and really thankful for your partnership and Saveur's partnership in this, and it's going to be wonderful. We'll definitely link the new book and all of the PCC events up on GoProvidence.com. We just really want to thank you for taking the time today to chat with us.
Yes,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. PVD POV is a podcast hosted by the Providence Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau in collaboration with the College of Hospitality Management and Center of Media Production at Johnson & Wales University. Hosts are Alana Cerrone-O'Hare and Nick Millard. Production by Professor Brian Lavin with assistance from the graduate students in tourism management. Episodes are available wherever you download your podcasts. Visit GoProvidence.com for more information on these stories and everything else Providence.
Thank you.